Hey, here I am and welcome back. Let's do some arting about. This week I've got some very exciting news. Let me get comfortable first. I have finally
Finished my first sketchbook.
This has been 16 months in the making. I do have 3 sketchbooks on the go, which is probably why this is a really slow process, but finally finished a sketchbook is this one. The first sketch in this book was the 24th of April 2024, and the last one, was just yesterday, which was the 3rd of August. So I'm going to take you through my first finished sketchbook, and I'm very excited about it. So let's take these off here first. This is my first sketchbook. It is a Hannah Muller sketchbook, and it's got watercolor paper in it. I didn't paint on my first page. That was a choice, and I didn't paint on the very last page either. But everything else in between has something on it. So I started this in April 2024 with a trip to my hometown. I'm from Lancaster, which is right next to Morecambe. These are some iconic places around Lancaster and Morecambe, basically. These were supposed to be rhododendrons, which I was told immediately by my mother do not look like rhododendrons, and she's quite right, but they are flowers, at least. And I had only just started, so leave me alone. So these are all areas around Lancaster, particularly the Ashton Memorial is very well known. This is the view from the house I grew up in, my parents' house. And then over here we have Morecambe. Eric Morecambe, the famous comedian, has a statue there. Yeah, that's it, clock tower. This one, laundry day. I went to my friend's house and we were going to go to the park and do some sketching together, but in the end we decided to stay on her terrace. I drew this and called it laundry day. Sitges. Always worth a trip to Sitges, which is just south of Barcelona, maybe 35, 40 kilometers. This is an iconic church. It's very well known. I think that these staircases have been used in a lot of films. This is another kind of collage that I did when I went to Ibiza, and I tried to do some different styles. So here I haven't used any ink, this is just watercolor, and then here I didn't use any color at all, and you can see this was just a gate near a beach that I quite liked. Ibiza Old Town, Cala Salada, Esvedra. This was actually really quite difficult to get to, we had to drive there, but it was really cool. Dolt Villa, which is also the old town really, and then a little map in the middle. Parque de la Ciutadella. This is the park in the middle of Barcelona. These are 3 different scenes that happened in one day while I was there. This is the fountain, this is the lake, and these were a couple of buskers that were there. Now what I did here, I painted yellow here originally, and then my friend had this kind of metallic gold color. I don't know if you can tell. And I decided to add that on top, but I wish I'd just left it as yellow. I don't think I'm a fan of metallic watercolor, really. I'm a flight attendant, by the way, and this is where I work, and this is an EasyJet plane. QT, little play on words there. Really like this one. I like the reflections. I think I did very well there. Last summer, I had an Aperol at a Chiringuito on a beach, which is a beach bar. My favorite thing here is this little black line. I think it really brings to life that the rim of a glass has like a little bump. I think that really shows through. I was really pleased with that one. This is just a camper van that I saw on a walk from Montgat to Badalona. Tibidabo, I love this one. It's a big cathedral in Barcelona. It's on the top of a hill. I really like this sky idea. I used that a few times on some greeting cards that I painted. Cadaqués, I just like this because of the little dog on the balcony. This one, I had to go to the emergency room, ER, casualty, whatever you call it. Here it's urgencias. And I had to wait for 6 hours. So I drew this. It's cool. I like the different balconies. It's great. I like that one. Another one, I was trying to work on the glass and the ice, which I think was somewhat successful. The background, I don't know. Yeah, no, I think it's okay. Don't mind it. This was the view from my bedroom window at my old flat, Plaza Europa. This hotel here is very iconic on that skyline. Again, I was in my kind of enjoying painting glass and reflections phase. I liked all this part. Not drawing what you think you see, but what you actually see, and then eventually it all kind of looks clear, or it looks metallic, or however you want it to look. I really like the background on this one. Cup of coffee on the balcony. And here is the view of Plaza Europa again, but from the next flat I lived in. So the other one was looking this way, and then I moved, and then I had this view. St. Patrick's Chapel in Heysham. This one took me quite a long time to do. Wanted to get some texture here on the stones that was built with, so I sprinkled table salt over the watercolor while it was still wet to give this texture. What I don't like though is the horizon line is slightly inclined downwards instead of being flat. It's kind of like this, but never mind. A good old Northern Rail train, they're never on time. Really like this one. This was a Kingfisher. I went for a walk with my brother this morning of the 10th, and we saw 2 kingfishers, so I decided to go home and paint one. Hornby Castle, this is near Lancaster. It's much more detailed and much more precise than a lot of my sketches, but really liked it. And I used masking tape to create a border on that one. Attempting some realism with this chair. I really like the legs, and I really like the shadows here. I think I've captured that quite well. Yeah, I like that one. It looks a bit whimsical and like a memory. This was just testing out some new colours that I got. These were my Daniel Smith colours. Painted some trees and then let them all blend in down here so I could see the colours and how they move in the water. And then I went over the top with some black ink just to, I don't know, just felt like doing it. This one is my least favourite sketch in this sketchbook. This is of somewhere in Florence, I think. I can't remember the name of it, but this is a sketch from a photo that a friend of mine took. It doesn't have the same energy as the rest of my sketches in there. Here I was trying something out with some modelling paste. I have some stencils. I used one of these and I scraped it through and then painted on top, but the watercolour didn't like to stick on top of it, which was a shame. Because this is an abandoned building and I wanted to try and give it this kind of distressed look, which has something about it, but it wasn't the effect that I was trying to get. These are from a couple of tutorials that I did online. I just wanted to try some different techniques. So this was one painting mushrooms. This is some sort of forest, mysterious forest. I do like this one, but I would like to do my own instead of following a tutorial. But I did learn some things. I used a stencil in the background there as well. This was a tutorial of a cat's eye, which was in preparation for this one. I really like that. This one is my friend's cat, friend Stephanie. She has an Instagram account, Drawing with Dolores, which is this cat. I'm going to link it down here. Follow her. She's great at doing sketches of people. She does small sketches and she uses colored pencils and watercolor together. This is her cat Dolores, who I think is super cute. This was another tutorial. What can I say? It's not my work. I copied somebody else's, but I like it. This is my little Halloween picture. I'd seen this picture on Instagram, so I thought I would just paint that. Think of the little nose. It's so cute. Meow-Halloween. This was from a photo that I took in Langkawi in Malaysia. I took this photo in 2016 and I really wanted to practice painting people. So I painted this lady who I had taken a photo of at a street market. This is my favorite brunch place in Barcelona. It's called Morning Glory. This took me a long time. I'm really pleased with the texture I got on this teapot. I think you can tell that that's a cast iron teapot. And I love the reflections on the spoon. I love this palmera. Do you know what? I love everything about that. No notes. This is from the same brunch. It was much more difficult. This was an acai bowl. I don't know, maybe I felt a bit rushed. I don't know, it seems to be a lot more in your face. But I do like it. These are oranges. These are grapes, bananas, strawberries, blueberries and walnuts, oat, apples, and then all the purple was the acai. People love this picture, and I sketched this from a picture I saw on Facebook, and I think this was actually an AI-generated image for The Sims. But I just really liked this, and I liked this movement, so I decided to sketch it. And then people keep asking me where it's from, and I'm like, well, it's not a real place. It's an AI image. Oh, the embarrassment. But if that was a real place, I would totally live there. This is my sister-in-law's teapot. She gets a lot of sort of antique-y things from auctions. This is a teapot, which we think looks like an Aladdin's lamp. So that was cool. This is the air traffic control tower at Barcelona Airport. I decided not to paint this because I liked the geometric structure and I thought it looked very good in pen. These are a couple of pumpkins. Are these pumpkins or squashes? These were on my cousin's kitchen table. And I thought, I'm going to just paint them. I really liked the pattern. It was quite a long process. It took me layers and layers until I've got to a point where I don't think it really looks like watercolor anymore. But it was. But I am very pleased with the shadow and the highlight. I think I've got some depth going on there. This is watercolor and oil pastel. Oh, that reminds me, I should try and do something with the oil pastels again. Just a little cute robin. Yeah, nothing else to say about that really. It was Christmas time, and what's more Christmassy than a little robin? Now, here we get to where I started making my YouTube channel. My first ever YouTube video was about a little walk around Venice where I sketched this. St. Mark's Square was just behind me. I got some gondolas and it was a bit of a rainy, foggy day, which I think I've captured with these splatters in the sky. Really like that one. Like the colors, like the pop of this blue. Love it. Sagrada Familia. I didn't want to do the whole thing because that's something that everybody does. So this is just a close-up. Oh, this is a whole Gaudi thing going on here. Gaudi, Gaudi, Gaudi. Casa Batlló. It's actually quite interesting to go inside this building. Park Güell, another Gaudi building. Here I was testing out these aqua markers that I had. I used a water pen to kind of blend them all together, but I think they did a great job testing out different ways of making little people. And I think my favorites are this one, and this one. Self-portrait does not really look like me. I think the only thing that I've really captured of me is this eyebrow. That looks very like me. The nose is too small, the cheekbones are too cheekbony. And this was a picture from a Mexican restaurant where I tried on this tiny little sombrero. I mean, I think it's quite a cute, fun little picture, but I just don't think it looks like me. Zaragoza. I led a sketching workshop for a couple of my friends, and this is what we all painted. The only thing I don't like about this actually is the splatters that I put here. These ones just look a bit dirty. It just looks like dirty water, whereas these more bright, vibrant, greeny ones are more effective. So, yeah. I think I should have been a bit more careful with the colour that I splattered, but never mind. Sitges, this is the same church as this, but from the other side. You can see. Zaragoza again. I used my flat-ended fountain pen for this one, which gives it this more kind of chunky style. I did another sketching workshop for this one, and this one we painted first and then sketched on top. Manchester skyline on a moving train. So I had to sketch it really quickly and then I painted it afterwards from memory. This was a 10-minute sketch. This is the boathouse in Halton, Lancaster, where I'm from. It's much greener than I expected it to come out. I used a limited palette. I only used 8 colors in this. Well, probably not even 8 colors by the looks of things, but my palette only had 8 colors in it. Then a couple of weeks ago, I went to Brighton, did a quick sketch of Brighton Pier. This went through a big ugly stage that I did not like, but I had friends with me and I didn't want to hold them up, so I did this really quite quickly, maybe 20, 25 minutes. But in the end, I like it. And I still have all the memories of sitting there, the seagulls, my friends sitting with me. I can remember the weather, it wasn't very hot. It was about to start raining. So it's not necessarily about how good the sketch is in the end, but all of the memories that I have attached to doing it. That's what I love about urban sketching. The Royal Pavilion, there was 2 trees either side here into this little sort of parky area. And I used those trees as my border. I thought it might be a bit more interesting than just painting the trees or drawing a border. And I quite like it. It's almost kind of like inviting you in. This is my video from last week, a 10-minute sketch of the Esperia Hotel. I'm going to link that up here so you can watch it. So this took me 10 minutes and I filmed the whole thing from start to finish with no edits. And I love it. I really like it. And then this one is the last one I did just at the beach just yesterday. I think this is my most successful sketching of people. For the first time, I think I've successfully captured the mood of the people. Like, I think it's obvious that this man is leaning on his hand, playing on his phone here. I couldn't see his phone, it was covered by his towel. You can tell this guy is lying on his side and his arm is in front of him. Really, really happy with this. So that's it. That is my sketchbook. I hope it doesn't sound big-headed when I say that I'm very pleased with that and I can't wait for people to flip through it when they come round for coffee. It might not be to everybody's style, you might not like everything in there, but the memories that I have attached to each of these sketches is priceless. So I am very happy with this and I can't wait to finish my next one. And also, I can't wait to get started in this sketchbook that I made myself. When I finish that one, that is going to be a hugely momentous occasion. So thank you for watching this video. What was your favorite sketch from my first finished sketchbook? Let me know in the comments, give this video a like, and I'll see you in next week's video. Bye!